All right, what's up, everybody? So I'm going to break down for you guys simple interest, compound interest. Okay, so we're gonna kind of do this in two parts. The first part will just be for those of you doing the simple interest. Then I'll just probably tell you to stop the video. Then when we get to the compound interest, you guys can rewatch the video and we'll take it to the next level with the compound interest. All right, so I am using your guys' homework that I gave to you guys and we went over today earlier in class. Okay, so find the simple interest. This is number one from your homework. Find the simple interest. So you took out a $1,350 loan. $1,350. Let's see, at a 6% interest rate for 7 years. This is number one. All right, so here's what we're going to do. Kind of an easy way to remember how to do simple interest is you're going to take the amount borrowed. You are going to multiply it by your interest rate. You are going to multiply it by the number of years that you're taking a loan out for. Just so you guys know, when you turn into adults, this is something that's very common. I have a 30-year loan that I took out on my house, my condo that I bought. I got 30 years, I got to pay it back, right? So it's usually 15 years, 30 years, right? There can be all kinds of different years for a loan. So let's just say you took out this real small loan. Somebody wanted you to pay it back within 7 years, 6%. How much extra money are you going to be paying this person for letting you take money from them? This amount. Well, you're going to take 1,350. You're going to multiply it by 6%. Like I told you guys earlier, we can't multiply it by just percent. We got to convert that into a decimal, right? So if we take 6%, we have to move the decimal 2 places, 0.06. Right, we have to move that decimal place 2 places to the left to turn that percent into a decimal. Okay? So, we're now at 0.06 for 7 years. We multiply that by 7, and that should give us our simple interest. Okay? So, when we do that, we get $567, right? So, that is our answer. That's our simple interest. Like I said to you guys in class earlier, you're going to take that amount of money and that amount of money, and that's what you're giving back to the person who you borrowed money from. But when you're just trying to calculate what the simple interest is, boom, there you have it. That's your answer. Okay? So that's that. This is the point where you'd want to stop the video and not watch anymore. Okay? For those of you who are moving on to compound interest, let's keep on going. Okay? So, compound interest, same type of formula, except for you don't multiply like that 7 years. You have to go 1 year at a time, and I'm going to show you what we mean. Here, I'm going to flip over and do one of the problems from your homework to help you guys out here. So, we're going to go with number 8. All right, so you borrow $3,850 at 5.25% interest rate for 2 years. Okay, so that's our problem. Number 8 says $3,850 at 5.2% for 2 years. So here's what we're going to do. To keep things real organized, you're going to do year 1, you're going to do year 2, and we're going to keep this super organized, okay? Kind of like when we were doing pie graphs, right? When I wanted you guys to be real systematic with how you do this, we're going to do it the same exact way. So year 1, we're going to do basically the same thing, 3,850 multiplied by our 5.25%. But just like we did over here for simple interest, we have to move that decimal 2 places. So 5.25 0.25%. We move it 1, 2 spots to the left, and that gives us our new decimal that we have to multiply by. Okay? So that's just a general rule of thumb. When you're turning your percent into a decimal, you move it 2 spots to the left. Okay, so now we have our number that we'll be multiplying by. And instead of just doing times 2, like we would have done over here, we can't do that for compound interest. We're just going to multiply by 1, which really is not going to change what we get from here to here. But just to keep things kind of organized, we're just going to multiply it by 1, right? Why are we doing that? Because I'll show you more here in a second after we do this math. But a compound interest rate is a better deal for the person who's letting you borrow money. If you're ever borrowing money, you want simple interest. Compound interest gives the person borrowing you money, the institution or the bank, the mortgage company, whoever that loan institution is, a compound interest is more of their friend than it is yours. And I'll show you here in a second how. So if we take 3,850 multiplied by 0.0525, we are going to get, I already did the number over here on your calculators. If you do it, you get 202.125. You get 202.125. Now, have you ever gone to the store and given anybody $202.125? Never, right? There's no way you would ever do that. We don't have less than a penny to be able to make that happen. So, if we're dealing with money, like we are, you would then just round up to 13, right? So $202.13. Now, compound interest, what we're going to do is we take our original amount, we're going to add this new amount of interest to it, okay? When we add that up, we get 4,052.13. Here's what we do with that number. This number, that would be our interest after 1 year. Compound interest, now we're in year 2, so we have to take that amount, we bring it down, and pretty much like our amount borrowed times our interest rate times the next year, we're just going to move forward again a whole nother step. So we take this new amount, and that new amount came from all that 1 year of interest, and we're going to compound it into a second year. So that new amount times our interest rate, but again, we can't multiply 5.25%. We have to convert that, move the decimal 2 points, or 2 points to the left, and we get multiplied by 0.0525. And again, multiplying by 1 isn't going to change any of this math. But again, it's kind of what we did over here is just multiply by 7 years, right? We're doing it multiplied by 2 years. But compounding, we just do times 1 times 1. If we had a year 3, we would do all this math, get a new number, and we would do the whole thing again. We don't have a 3rd year, so we don't have to worry about that. We're almost done. So again, we take 4,052.13 multiplied by our interest rate, after we turn that interest rate into a decimal, times 1. When we do that, we're going to get 212.736825. Now again, I ask you, if you went to Target, or I don't know, the video game store, or you're buying something off Amazon, how many times have you ever been asked to give that percentage of cents? I mean, again, we don't make anything smaller than a penny, so there's no way we could get any further than that right there. So what are we going to do? Take that next number and we either keep it a 3 or we round up. You guys know if it's a 5 or higher, which a 6 is 5 or higher, we round that up to a 7 or 0.74. So now that's our interest rate. And if you notice, look at the interest the first time around was $202.13. Now, because we have a higher amount here, now our new interest rate for year 2 is $212.74. And just like we did before, we added that to that, and then we got our interest, right? So that's the amount that we had to pay back. We paid back the original amount plus our interest. Now we have to pay back our amount, $4,052.13 plus $212.74. When we do that, we're gonna get $4,264.87. And that'll be the total amount of money that we will pay back. So if you check it out, right, $3,850 was our original amount. That's the interest rate the bank wanted for 2 years. Now again, if we go over here to our simple interest, let's just, for fun, right, we'll just say what was our simple interest. If we were to be lucky enough to get this amount of money, $3,850, at our 5.25% for 2 years, but we were able to convince the bank, hey, we don't want a compound interest rate. Please let me have it for a simple interest rate. And they say, all right, we're nice people. The banks, super nice people. Mortgage companies, super nice people. So they're going to say, okay, cool, yeah, that's fine. So now you would take 3,850 multiplied by, remember we have to take our 5.25, decimal place goes 2 to the left, 0.0525, and then we would just multiply it by 2, right? That's our simple interest. We just do times 2. And I would have to look up on my phone what that is actually, but I don't have a calculator with me, so I'll let you guys do that right now, and you guys tell me, is that number higher or lower than our 212, right, or our 202.13? Really, you'd want to say, is it lower than this, right? And then what you're going to want to do, kind of like this, is when you take your interest, add it back to the original amount. So that's what I want you to do, actually, is take this, right, multiply it, then when you get your interest number, add it back to the original amount and see which one's higher or lower. I'd be willing to bet my life that the compound interest is going to be higher, right? So, anyways, that brings us to an end here today. Hopefully you guys get it. If you don't, just watch the video a few times and try to do the problem without watching the video. Then maybe if you're still not getting it, try to do it with the video as the video's going. Otherwise, I'll see you guys virtually in the online classroom, and we can talk about it more then. All right, guys, take care.